got somebody who's an inspiration to me. He's a comedian, he's a writer, he's a producer, he's a performer, you name it, he does it. Everybody, this is Mr. Darryl Dane Bohanan. What's up, man? What's up with you, man? Tell us a little bit about you, man, because I know you tell us a little bit about your comedy. Tell us about your films and different things that you're working on and projects. Tell us about you, man, and then I'm gonna ask you to even talk about a little bit of politics. I just want you to be and stuff, man, because you are an inspiration.
I don't know about...
You are, man.
I don't know about being this inspiration.
You are to me.
Well, let's say the way I've taken it from you is you have a talent, so you remind me somewhat of some of the things that I've done.
That's right.
So when I see you, I see my own self in time. You know, I was with a comedy team called Bohanan and Sanders. I was doing comedy by myself, and then me and my partner, Brad Sanders, who has Babysitter Productions and does On the Phone with Tyrone, and he was doing the soap opera update with Tom Joyner on the Tom Joyner show nationally on radio.
That's right.
We had a comedy team called Bohanan and Sanders, and while we were doing that, we would always talk about how we wanted to make movies. So it actually got me on the trail to making movies. And actually, it was one of the reasons I ended up going to film school so I could learn how to make movies. Because one of the things that I noticed about most of the people who were black, who were directing anything in the business, whether they knew someone or didn't, it seemed to be a common thing is that everyone had a degree. And so I didn't have one. So I went back to school, got 2 degrees in filmmaking. And there is what she's written. And I went back as an adult because I was doing stand-up when I was all the way until actively doing stand-up, all the way until about 50.
Wow. So let me tell you this, ask you this, do you like it on stage or do you like being behind the camera? Which is the best? Or is it just a way of expressing yourself?
Well, let me say this. As a very young man, I'm an artist, I'm a cartoonist.
Yeah, I've seen some of your stuff, man.
So I went with my cartooning first. And then my cartooning spawned my comedy. The comedy spawned the stand-up. Huh. And then the stand-up spawned the filmmaking.
Wow.
And so when you ask which do I like most, they're all integrated. There's just like a chain of events.
I love it.
One really follows the other. I'm not really outside the framework of where I initially started from or wanted to go.
That's right.
I mean, I was surprised when I went to film school that Alfred Hitchcock was also an artist.
Ah.
He could draw.
Yeah.
So it was like, whoa. So, you know, multitasking has always been, it's not a new concept with the exception of that people make reference to it because it's computerized now.
I love it.
But there are other people who have other crafts that they grew from, and I'm one of those people.
Wow. So where are you from? Because all of us are in Chicago.
Right. I grew up in Chicago.
So did you pack up here and just say you pursuing?
Well, unlike a lot of my friends, my father had cancer. He had cancer of the esophagus. And I maintained residence in Chicago until he passed away.
Yeah.
It was after he passed away that I came here. I couldn't leave Chicago knowing that he was, you know, alive and ailing. I couldn't leave like that. So after he passed away, I came here.
So I know that you write treatments, you got a lot of projects that you're working on. What are some of the ideas? Where do they come from with your projects?
Well, initially what I've done is I've done about 100 television shows.
100 television shows.
And I had about 5 different series. I had a program called Entrepreneurs Digest. These are all black themed shows.
Right.
Interestingly enough, I found out when I went to college, I was 38 years old when I went back to school. I found out that I really liked history. Along with so I probably should have had it as a double major, but I didn't do it that way. But especially African American history, because it was somehow explaining to me what I was experiencing as a young man, but it was giving me the chronology and the events that led up to some of the ideas. And then I came out to find out why my father, who was always trying to protect me, because he didn't know anybody who was an artist. So here he's got this black kid who's trying to do art. He's out of Chicago, and who's gonna hire this black kid in Chicago, who's into art? I mean, so therein was a problem. So my father was always saying, don't do this, don't do that. He really didn't support me.
Wow.
I mean, he was more fearful of me, but I understood it when I got to this part where I was in these classes and I was saying, oh, they were lynching men in their uniforms when my father was a boy. And so here he's trying to say to me, what are you talking about? When I was growing up, Brown versus Board of Education had passed, but there wasn't a Civil Rights Act yet.
That's right.
Okay, so the issue is that I had to come up, wanting to do what I wanted to do basically on my own. But true to force, I had a lot of good friends who were in that same vein. So we came from the art part, where we were illustrators, cartoonists, and painters.
Yeah.
And we were very highly skilled and highly motivated.
That's right.
At that time, you only needed a high school education.
Yeah.
So we went out and got studio jobs, working for magazines and things of that nature. As a studio job, meaning that you worked in an area where there's guys who can draw. You walk into a room and there's about 10 guys on tables with illustrating, because a lot of the work was print work was done by artists, not by photographers at that particular time.
Now, you were telling me recently about one of your projects that's about to break, and you were talking about your beard.
Well, I cannot tell you anything other than the fact that, because I don't really want it to be...
Okay.
I can't talk about the film because it's extraordinary in temperament and nature.
Okay.
I can't shave until I shoot this movie. So that's my commitment to getting the work done. So it's more like I'm in my own space of war.
That's amazing. No, that's a vision.
Well, it's mostly like,
It's like a...
I have to continue. When the film gets shot, I'll shave the beard.
Wow, I love
Right.
it. I love it. Now we're gonna put all of Darryl DDB's information right here, and there's some other things I want you to share with us. What about the president? Aren't you excited about this Bin Laden thing? What about that?
Well, there's a dual-edged sword about all of that. In one way, you lose this guy who's a terrorist. At the same time, you got, we're celebrating a guy being dead, jumping up and down, and then at the same time, it's justice served because of what he imposed.
That's
you
right.
know. Not only did he impose death, but he imposed economic insecurities. I mean, the things he did has brought about new agencies, new budgets, draining of economies. Not that it has to do anything with the subprime mortgages, but
Yeah.
the fact that this guy's terrorist act, this guy could get on TV and change the Dow Jones.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa.
And essentially, when you think about it, that's what he was doing. There's a whole nother art of war where we don't have to kill you physically if we can kill you mentally. So if he's got the whole country on a red alert, there's losses being taken.
I love it. I love it.
You know, while things are slowed down. So presumably, you know, there's nobody with a name, with the name value. Osama bin Laden is a brand.
That's right.
Okay, and it's interesting that, you know, well, Obama, our black president, he did take him out. He did do what he promised. So to that effect, you know, nobody can keep jumping up and down talking about what Obama won't do and call him soft.
Okay.
No, he's a real black gangster.
It sounds like something that you can put on one of your treatments. But you know what, Darryl?
Chicago.
Oh, there you go, Chicago.
Yeah.
I love
Mob.
it. You know what, Darryl? It's so much stuff I want to talk to you about, man. I got to bring you back because I want you to just share everything, man. We didn't get to go there because of time being short.
Right.
But again, everybody, his stuff is right here where you can find everything about Darryl Dane Bohanan or DDBFX right here. Make sure that you look him up. And again, man, you are an inspiration to me. And I just got to say one thing, DDB. Thank you for kicking it with me.
My pleasure. My pleasure.